What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders Awakened. It is patch day, y'all. The Legacy transfer program is now in game. I've gotten a lot of questions about this over the last week, so I decided to just take the jump and do the Legacy transfer myself right here on a video so you all can see up front before you do it what exactly happens to your Legacy accounts. Now remember, anyone that since launch has just played through on play, has nice progression on play, it's probably going to be in your best interest to stay on play. Anyone that stayed on Legacy since launch is going to be interested in seeing exactly how things transfer over. So let's pop right on into Legacy. As we know, Legacy will eventually be going away, so you have a couple of weeks or up until the next major update to decide which system you want to use, but your Legacy setup will be going away. There's no doubt there. So make sure that you look through your items and make an educated decision on which one you want to do. Now there's a few things I wanted to look at. First off, here in my deck I've got a DPS Huntress, a Traptress, and Builder Apprentice, and an Aura Monk. Now all of these characters are in Nightmare Hardcore gear from prior to launch, and these pieces of gear, of course, have the 337 upgrades. So 337 upgrades on armor. I don't have a 403 weapon, but the old weapons, of course, were 403 upgrades, and that's one of the main things that are going to be changing. So I'm not really sure exactly if this is going to be a direct stat loss or if stats will be raised, the default stats of the item, in replace of no upgrade levels. I don't think it will, but we are going to find out right here in just a moment. So taking a look at my DPS Huntress, we're at 1400 Vitality, 3100 Attack. On the Traptress, we're at 1100 Fort, 4100 Power, 1500 Range, and almost 1300 Rate. On the Apprentice, we are 962 Fort, 3500 Power, 1400 Range, 2000 Rate. And on our Aura Monk, we're 1137 Fort, 4100 Power, 1800 Range, and 1176 on the Rate. Now, I want to see directly how these transfer over. In addition to that, I want to see what happens to pets. So like here in this example, I've got a 90% hero damage prop cat with 99 upgrades, and I'm sitting on 40 billion gold, almost 41 billion. Now, the amount of gold I have should go up considerably to the new cap, which is 300 billion. 300 billion is more than enough for me. I think that's a very fair cap. I do think there will be quite a few of us that hit it, and it won't necessarily be too far out. However, I do think 300 billion is an extremely fair cap. Now, anything that you found on your Legacy account since then will not change. So all of that stuff will be sitting here still, and all of the stuff that's dropped since launch is in the new loot system, so should receive no changes whatsoever. However, extremely curious about the pets and the gear itself. So let's go ahead and switch on over from Legacy to play and see how this all transitions. So if we go ahead and hit the transfer, are you sure you want to transfer your Legacy characters and gear to play? This will delete any characters and gear obtained through play, transfer your Legacy characters and gear to play, reset all Legacy gear upgrades, refund the gold, apply 1.0 balance max upgrades, and disable further play on Legacy. Oh, you know what? There was one more thing I wanted to check, so let's pop into Legacy one more time, and I want to check progression to see if it's going to save any progression you made on Legacy. Now on Legacy, I did go through and I played through the entire Massacre campaign with the exception of Magus Quarters. So Magus Quarters should be the only one that doesn't have a check mark on Massacre once I switch over to play. So let's go ahead and make it happen and see what kind of results we get. Glad I could be the guinea pig for you all, and hopefully this goes very smoothly. Hold for 5 seconds, so that's good. I mean, you can't do it by accident. That's a plus. And here we go. My Legacy characters and gear are currently being migrated. Restarting Dungeon Defenders Awakened is now required. So I will be right back. Alright, and we are back, and now we see Legacy and the Legacy transfer buttons and everything are completely gone. Let's hop on into play and see what we're left with. Please don't be a travesty. And let's take a peek here. See, my deck changed a little bit. Let's go with the same deck we had before, and let's check out the gear. Okay, now the paintball gun dropped down to 189, so that is not actually terrible. Obviously, I'll be wanting to use a soul focuser instead now. However, yeah, paintball gun dropped 142. So yeah, the upgrades dropped, and they actually look like they are very comparable to current Nightmare gear. Now, I don't know the individual stats. It seems like some of the stats may have changed. Let's take a look at where we're at right now. We are very, very low. Now, as you see, I've jumped all the way up to 144 billion. So I've got lots of gold to play around with here. Let's take a look at, let's say, this Traptress. Let's fully upgrade this Traptress and spend a little gold and see what kind of stats we can get to. As you see, the stats we're at right now prior to upgrades are pretty darn decent. That prop cat rolled down to 69. It actually is a buff. Let's see. Or no, we can't actually up the hero damage on the prop cat. So at first I thought that was going to be a buff to the prop cat. It is actually not. So no big buff there. Let's go ahead and upgrade. Let's do a Traptress. Let's upgrade all of the gear on the Traptress and see exactly what kind of stat we end up at, just to see if we're comparable. Now, I'm not going to do this for all the heroes. I just don't see any point in wasting the gold, as I do have, you know, replacements for all this gear already ready to go. And it's going to be quite the day of organization, there's no doubt here. But let's get all of our stuff upgraded. Now, I didn't have the weapon all the way upgraded. Let's just go halfway. Just past halfway on that, and then we'll upgrade all of our accessories as well, just to see where we end up and what kind of stat range, just how far away we are from where we were. And it actually doesn't look too terrible, to be honest with you. Ooh, the giraffe. I didn't look at my giraffe prior. I mean, that's not a great giraffe, but that's not terrible either. It has a really low power roll on it, unfortunately. We'll throw just 100 upgrades on it. And then let's take a look and see what our stats are at now. Alright, so this is not insanely different, really. Our Fortify is at 1109. It was at 1143 before. Our power took a big hit, down to 2884 from 4112. Now, that's straight up the upgrades. Of course, on your armor pieces, each upgrade also took an additional 40% hit from the set bonus. So if you're missing 150 upgrades on 4 different items, that right there is 600 points, plus an additional 40% of that 600 on top of it. So we're down to 2884 power. Our range is identical at 1505, and our rate went to 1268. So a little bit of a hit on power, actually quite a hit on power compared to the pre-launch gear, but we know that this, in part, is one of the reasons the whole Legacy and Play thing came into existence anyway. Now, taking a look at our progression, and this was a big one for me. Is it going to be saved? And it looks like the progression is good. All of Massacre is unlocked except for Magus Quarters. No check mark there, so our progression came across with no problems whatsoever. Taking a look through some of the other gear. Now, like I said, I don't want to just spend all of the gold, but if we take a look at some of these pets, just to see where they ended up. My monk actually ended up with a fairly decent level 83 trans pet. Nothing to write home about, but definitely fairly decent. And then there, of course, was that one on the Huntress. So that is a look at the Legacy to Play transfer. Basically, it looks like all it did was get rid of your upgrade levels. So you did get the gold back. Man, That was a lot of summit runs to upgrade all that stuff, so it's kind of nice getting all that gold back, that's for sure. And that is where I'm at today. So I'm going to have to go through, as you see, I've saved up quite a bit of gear, ready to re-gear this character as if it were new. And I'll be ready to go here in no time on play now, and I'm excited to get moving and playing with my friends again, as that was one of the hardest things for me over the last few days, is all of my friends were on play and I was on a legacy. However, that will do it for now. Thank you all an absolute ton for watching. Make sure you click that like button, please subscribe to the channel, and I will be back soon with some more Dungeon Defenders Awakened. You had better believe it. Thanks again. I'll see you next time.